Hello, my name is Tucker Anderson, and welcome to my Mars simulation program. So, right here it says Mission to Mars. That's the title. A Mars simulation program. You are the commander of a spaceship that is on a mission to Mars. What is your name? So, I'm just going to type my name. Welcome, Commander Tucker. You have 10 crew members, including you. Set up a base on Mars and try to lose as little crew members as possible. So, that is the objective of the simulation. On the way to Mars, the water maker and your spaceship broke. Your crew had to use the backup water supply and have ran out of water. Your first mission is to find water on Mars. Your spaceship lands safe on Mars. You and your thirsty crew exit the spaceship and begin to explore. You and your crew have been wandering for hours now. You all have grown thirstier and thirstier by the minute. But just when you were about to give up, you see a discolored streak on the side of a small crater. That's when you remember from your studies that that's a streak of water, which is usually a sign of a water reservoir just below the surface. To obtain the water, you need to dig to it. However, the gear you need to gather it and bring it back to the ship as a reserve is still at the ship. You can still dig it up to drink from it, but if you do, it will dry up before you can get the equipment back to gather it, and you will have to find a new water source to gather from. You can trek back to the ship and grab the gear without digging to it, but if you do, there is high risk that people will die from dehydration. So, this is scenario one, and with every scenario, there each option has greater consequences. So there is always a right option, a worst option, and then options in between that lead to different outcomes. So we have, what do you want to do? Dig to and drink the water and find another source later, or risk walking back to get the equipment and lose one or more crew members? Um, as you can see, it says type A and press enter for option A, and type B and press enter for option B. I did that so hopefully there's no confusion on what you're supposed to be typing, so you can type the right thing. But if there is, I'm going to show you that. That gives a separate option, which is always the worst option, because it's an invalid command, so it takes it literally as an invalid command from the commander. So for instance, if I press, say, G, it says you did not give a valid command to your crew. Because of this, you ended up looking for a better water source and find nothing, and you end up losing 2 people. You and your crew decide to head back to camp to go with option B. You get back to camp and gathered your gear, then set out back to the first source. You lose 2 more people on the way. You and your crew gathered it and headed back to camp again, drinking some in the process. Oh no, you made it through your first set of decisions, but you lost 4 crew members. Your current crew count is 6. So it says the current crew count is 6, and with this option, it's true because you have lost 4 crew members. Um, Now for the next option, if I choose an option that kills 1 crew member, then your crew count will go down to 5. So it is an actual process that will do the math and make sure that your crew count changes depending on your options. So there are roughly about 12 endings you can get. The endings, there's about like 4 endings that are like the same. Like there are 4 uh, templates of endings. But the thing that changes is the amount of crew members you have remaining. So it says you and your crew made it back to the base camp and started setting up. You decided to start setting up communications because the sooner you set that up, the sooner you can start getting supply drops. You and your crew finished setting up your communications with no problem. You radio to command, and they tell you they have prepared a supply drop for when you landed. So you request for them to send it. The supply drop holds a month worth of rations and supplies for the next step of colonization. Something went wrong during the supply pod's landing, and it got damaged. If you try to open it with tools, there is a chance it will explode and kill anyone in proximity. You can try to find another way to open it, but your options are limited. You can try to find it yourself, or you can try to open it yourself You will most likely die, but the rest of your crew will survive and the pod will be opened. If you decide to let someone else open it, then it will take more than one person because only you are trained enough to open it by yourself. So it says, what do you want to do? A, open it yourself and risk dying but saving everyone else in the process. B, send 3 of your crew members to open it and most likely losing them in the process. Or C, find another solution despite your options being limited. And then if you type an invalid command, this is one where it's basically like if you didn't learn your lesson from typing an invalid command, the first one, then in this one, if you type an invalid command, it is the only way to lose the game. Where if you type an invalid command, it says that you and your crew decided to wait for the next supply drop and you die of starvation in the process. So everyone dies, so that's technically the only way to lose the game. I'm going to press A. So here it says you decided to open it yourself. You died in the process, but you saved the rest of your crew. Your final crew count is 5. You win. Despite the fact that you died, you still made it through the scenarios with crew members remaining. So, therefore, even though you died, the supplies your crew got from the drop allowed them to set up a base camp. There are, therefore, wait. Control sent along a replacement commander, and colonization continued as planned. Thanks to your bravery and sacrifice, mankind was able to complete the next step for humanity, the end. So even though you died, you still technically won, because you still made it out with crew members remaining. Um, the best options would be if you go with A, because then you don't lose anyone, and then if you go with C, find another solution despite your options being limited. Because in that scenario, um, one of your crew members comes up with an idea where you decide to open the supply pod underwater from a different water reserve that you find, and because of this, the pressure from the water um, contains the explosion and prevents it from killing anyone. Uh, this damages the colonization equipment, but the food remains fine because of the way that it is packaged. So that is the best outcome. And the worst outcome, obviously, is the one where you lose. But the other worst outcome without losing would be if for the first option you didn't give any command, because then you lose 4 people, and then with the second option you choose B, because then you lose 3 people, and so then you only end up with 3 people. But yeah, so that's um my simulation. So thank you for watching.